Hey everybody, what is up? It's time to talk about today's topic, spiritual fire. Spiritual fire is the title that I've given to this section of the website. I'll be talking about all different kinds of spiritual and religious matters here. I'll be talking about my own personal spiritual journey and anything that has to do with any kind of spiritual or religious subject. I'm going to be putting these kind of stories, and there's going to be a wide different variety of things into this section right here. I'll also be sharing what I've come to believe through my own spiritual exploration. I'm going to be talking about spiritual fire as a tool which will help you find your way in life, help you find your true calling, how it will help you find your passions, how in turn it's kind of a double-edged sword. Working on your true passions and your calling will help be the flint and the steel that produce the sparks you need to get the little embers going into flames, or to get your flames going into a bonfire. And then so spiritual fire helps you find your passions and your calling, and then by working on your calling and your passions, it produces a greater spiritual fire within you, right? So it's a wonderful double-edged sword there. I'm also going to be talking about what exactly a spiritual fire is, why it's so important, how we can get it, and how we can keep it. So let's start right there. Let's talk about what a spiritual fire is. Spiritual fire is the transformational energy that comes down from heaven into your soul. Spiritual fire is an intense energy or a fire that fuels you and keeps you going and growing. Are you in a slump? Are you looking for some motivation? Instead of reaching out to the stars and trying to find someone else to fire you up, we will be learning how to get the spiritual fire and set ourselves on fire. All right, this kind of internal motivation as opposed to extrinsic motivation, everybody knows that's the best. So this is going to be the ultimate source. All right, the energy of a transformational spiritual experience, the spiritual fire. I would like to talk to you about how I came to understand the concept of a spiritual fire a little bit better, and maybe you can relate with it. Maybe you'll just get a laugh out of it. But I was watching one of my favorite Chinese dramas, Love and Destiny, wherein the gods and the high gods are up in the heavenly palace, and they're going to have to do battle with the demon lord after he's awakened after a 50,000-year slumber. The demon lord is releasing his demonic aura, a nasty, strange black smoke with tentacles that reaches out, and the little tiny black smoke particles infiltrate the bodies of anyone that it encounters. Anybody who's not a very powerful high god is immediately overcome by the evil energy. Their eyes turn red, their faces become twisted with a demonic look, and they become totally out of control and under the power of the demon lord. He can speak directly to them and tell them what to do. And I don't know, I liked that. It was pretty neat. I thought it was pretty compelling. Later, I was driving in my truck, and I thought, you know what, that's a great example of how spiritual fire works, but in the opposite way. When a person is overcome with the energy of heaven, the spiritual fire that I've been thinking about, if it's done correctly, it'll work in the same way to where, God's heavenly energy is physically entering your body, and it takes you over, and you become a changed person. You're immediately filled with the infinite energy of heaven. You are compelled to do good things, and your life has changed. The visual image that I got from that movie helped me to understand what is a spiritual fire, how it works, how powerful it can be. It all seemed very attractive as well. So I was thinking about how we can open ourselves up to this kind of spiritual channels and get this kind of heavenly energy flowing into our lives. And so we need to just develop a strong connection with the heavens above. And the way we do this is obviously lots of prayer and meditation to remove the negative energies, demonic aura, that are blocking the spiritual fire from getting down to us and allowing it to penetrate down into every fiber of our being. So if you'd like to hear more about that, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that kind of a thing and the prayers and the meditations that I like. Stay tuned to this little category of the website here called Spiritual Fire. I'm going to be talking about all kinds of strange things, and it's not, all prayers and meditation, but I will be talking about that. So, yes, I'll be sharing more in this section of the website, and I'll also be asking for you to share your ideas about how we might be able to get a greater amount of spiritual fire in us as well. I'd like to take a moment to talk about why spiritual fire is the central part of this website. In case you haven't noticed, I purposely designed the template of this website to have this fire, the spiritual fire, in the middle of the other areas and the topics that I will talking about. You'll see that I have an image of the lion and the sun as the image or the representation for the spiritual fire in the middle of the template for the website. The lion represents the royal, regal power, the King of Kings, and the sun is the fire and the power and energy coming off of the kingly lion. It's blasting out all that wonderful infinite energy. The flames of the sun are reaching out and blasting out into all different areas of my life. And because when your life becomes full of this golden infinite energy of the spiritual fire from heaven, you can probably understand that it will affect every area of your life in a more powerful way. Okay, so stay tuned. Thank you very much. And this is just a little introduction to let you know what the spiritual fire category is about. Obviously, I'm going to get a little bit spiritual here and talk about my own spiritual journey, and also there's going to be some strange other stories that may have spiritual or meditation or and those kinds of undertones. Okay, thank you very much, and may your life be filled with spiritual fire.